And we're live. Hey, stop spoiling the list, Tato. We are here at the Countdown episode number 62, where me and a buddy talk about our top 10, usually involving the world of movies, and it will indeed be movies tonight. We're talking our top 10 favorite movies of the year 2014. You may know him from The Lonely Marks. You may know him from, if you tour Washington sometimes. I don't know. It's Jacob. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. Yeah, we are discussing some movies, as you can see, top 10 of 2014. Yeah, I kind of just did 94 as like it's the year my favorite movie came out, so I was like, cool, let's do it. And then I realized, hey, we could do 2004 and 2014, and then at the end of this year, hopefully, if I have seen enough, 2024 as well. So it was a happy accident.
Happy Accident. That's a movie, I think. So yeah, 2014 is a good year. We're talking off air. This is good. Like, there's stuff that I like hardcore recommend in like my top 25 that I'm not even gonna get to mention here. And now even like my top 40, I like pretty strongly recommend. So yeah, it's a good year for movies. Let's see what does quite make the list here. What doesn't quite make the list though, Jacob? Let us know your honorable mentions. Basically, your 11 through 15.
Yeah, so my 11 through 15, starting at 15, is The Guest with Dan Stevens. Underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it, or enough people talk about it.
Watched this week randomly.
Yeah, it's really good. Number 14, I have a movie called East Side Sushi. It was a movie I came across randomly. It's about a Hispanic lady who wants to be a sushi chef, even though that's kind of frowned upon in sushi restaurants, and it's a really interesting story. I won't go into too much detail because I don't think enough people have even heard of this movie, but it's really great. 13, I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. 12, I have the Lego Movie. And 11, the Grand Budapest Hotel. 11 and 12 were really fighting for that number 10 spot, but ultimately I did go with what I have at number 10.
I totally get you, because my number 15 honorable mention is Grand Budapest Hotel. So right on the cusp. Sorry, Wes Anderson, I know you're watching. Number 14 is The Fault in Our Stars. Good old cancer tearjerker. Number 13 is X-Men Days of Future Past. Again, shows you how good this list is. I love these movies here. Number 12 is 22 Jump Street. Super worthy. Very funny sequel. And number 11 is Nightcrawler. Not the X-Men spinoff here, but the Jake Gyllenhaal absolutely ponying it as a creepy cameraman is willing to do just about anything. Data Lord. All right, we now are in our 10 T here. Jacob, what you got at number 10 for the year 2014?
Yeah, and I want you to know that I actually reworked this list right before you sent me the link. So this is a revised version of the list. I was like, I don't know if I'm happy with it. So, because originally I had this at number 11 and I switched some things around. The Raid 2, I know it's a movie that you absolutely love, right? You've gone around to it?
Nope, never seen it.
No, but The Raid 2, the sequel to The Raid, I think the action in this movie is just as good, if not better at some points, than the first. It's very much more story driven than The Raid was. The Raid was action nonstop from start to finish, which I absolutely love. I am a Raid over Raid 2 guy, but that just shows you how good The Raid 2 is. It's also in my top 10 for a year that is stacked with absolute fantastic movies. So I won't go into too much because I know you haven't seen it, but just I think it is a great action movie. The fight choreography scenes are some of the best fight scenes I think in movies in this film. They are absolutely fantastic. That prison fight scene that you see right there, there's a kitchen fight. Even if you don't want to watch the movie, just like go on YouTube, check those fight scenes out. And right here, this one, oh, it's so good. I would have felt bad having it in my honorable mentions because I think the fight choreography is some of the best that's been put to screen.
No, I will just check it out in full one day for sure here. And yeah, even without seeing it, I've heard of the kitchen fight.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I haven't seen your number 10. I know you've seen my number 10 because you did mention before. We're going to talk the Lego movie here. This is to me the best example of, you tell me Hollywood's making whatever, a candy the lane game movie rather. What would you say? Tetris. I'm willing to give it a shot here because I feel like when they first announced this, I was like, yeah, those yellow bricks, like what? Okay, but same with Pirates of the Caribbean here. If you have a good script, if you have a good cast, you can have a really great movie here. They built a really fun world here. I feel like Free Guy kind of took a kind of part of it, their story from this, here where he's kind of just an ancillary character here who becomes the main focus of the story here. Chris Pratt, well, I don't love him as Super Mario because I just kind of feel like he's didn't lend to that particular character here. I think he's perfect as the everyman here. And the world they built around it is just so vibrant, funny. Side characters of Charlie Day, Elizabeth Banks here, Morgan Freeman, and then also Will Ferrell as the bad guy is great. And then we introduce another great version of Batman, Will Arnett, who knew I needed that version of my life here, and a great spin-off movie that came from that too. I love the real world elements. If you don't know what I mean, Will Ferrell does physically pop up as well. And yeah, I think it's just a unique movie, funny, great comedy, great family movie as well. So that's my number 10. What you got at number 9?
Yeah, no, great pick there. The Lego Movie. I think it's fantastic. The fact that none of the Lego movies were nominated for Best Animated Feature, however, is a travesty. But hey, we got The Boss Baby.
I like The Boss Baby.
Do you like The Boss Baby more than Lego Batman?
No.
Okay. So that's just my one grade. Anyway, my number 9 it was one of your honorable mentions, I believe, and that is X-Men Days of Future Past. I think, yeah. I go back and forth between this and X2 on which one is my favorite X-Men movie as far as team-ups go. I love the fact that we kind of get, both teams here. I think they use them really well. It is kind of Wolverine centric, and I think that's good. I mean, Wolverine's one of my favorite, superhero characters just ever. Yeah, you get the best of both worlds here. I think there's some good action. I think there's some good story here. I love the time travel aspect. I think it's a fantastic movie. Spoilers. There's 3 more superhero / comic book-esque movies in my top 10. I think 2014 might be a really good year for comic book and superhero movies.
I love this one as well here. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. That's kind of why I even hinted at, like, this shows you how strong this year is, and the fact that this isn't my 10 shocks me. Because I love this one as well here. Never bad to have a Wolverine-centric movie here, and kind of a cool swan song too in a way too. Some of the the Halle Berry character, James Marsden, even kind of popping back in at the end to say goodbye to them. It's a good flick. My number 9. Well, it's not a superhero movie per se. You kind of could say it is, because this man is the master at gung fu. It is John Wick, a little movie that kind of came out of nowhere. This is a movie that I feel like even the trailer dropped relatively kind of last second here. Like, oh, okay, John Cena. Why am I saying John Cena? He's in it. You just couldn't see him. Get it? John Cena joke. But yeah, Keanu Reeves, is a guy, very simple thing here. He's, just recently lost his wife. He's been out of the game for a while because he got out of it for her. She lives with a cute little puppy dog. And then these gangsters here, man. Should have driven a worse car, Keanu. If you had just driven a worse car, none of this would have happened. Just saying.
Station wagon.
Yeah. If you just put in the freaking, old school.
Buy a Camry.
Killed you. Yeah. So just saying, John, if you hadn't showed off the car, there'd be no movie. It'd just be about a man and his dog for 2 hours. But they take out him and his dog. And he's vowing vengeance here. And he goes for it here, and the stunts are great. This is what do you call 4 movies, Jacob? Is there a name for it? It's not a trilogy. It's a quadrilogy. Yeah, a quadrilogy, if you will. And again, I think
even franchise
before, franchise.
I would just be simple, yeah.
Whichever one's your favorite, I'm cool with it because they're all really great in their own ways. Here, I'm a fan of all 4. And I think the first one's great as well. It's a great introduction to this world. Even setting up the Continental and whatnot. So yeah, got John Wick coming in number 9, and also shout out to Kevin Nash, who totally lives. What you got at number 8?
Number 8. Another one of your honorable mentions, I believe,
Hey.
that is Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, who I think is turning in an absolutely fantastic performance. It's a shame he wasn't
Another
nominated.
potential snub. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the same could be said for Riz Ahmed is supporting. I think he's fantastic in this movie too. We did kind of victim blame, but by saying if you just drove a nicer car or a crappier
I was
car.
trying to say, when did I ever mention a woman's outfit? I don't remember at all. Oh, okay. Well, still, drive a worse car if you don't want to get, questioned by Russian gangsters.
But yeah, no, I think this is a fantastic movie driven by Gyllenhaal's performance. And the fact that it was a directorial debut too for Dan Gilroy, who directed it, and I think he turned out a fantastic movie that I think deserved more love than it got in that year. I know that people love it now, like people praise Gyllenhaal's performance. I think it's one of his top performances that he's given us, which is saying a lot because he's given some incredible performances throughout the years. Bubble Boy. Let's be honest. But yeah, just kind of the the lengths we'll go to kind of get a story and I think it's a great like I'm watching the trailer and I want to watch the movie again. The performances are just, I think they're top notch. Again, Gyllenhaal snubbed. So number 8, Nightcrawler. It could have been higher. Also could have been lower though, because that's just how good this year was.
No, definitely. I'm glad you were able to bring it up here, because I'm a huge fan of it as well. Like I said, my number 11, so right on the cusp here. Great movie, great performance. Maybe my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal performance, which again is kind of saying something here. And hopefully Daniel Gilroy does more. He did follow this up with Roman J. Israel, Esquire, and Philip Belsar, which I don't love as much, but I thought were interesting movies enough, and I would love to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah.
Directing wise. My number 8. It's funny. I just realized I have John Wick sandwiched between two just lovely movies. Paddington, that motherfucking bear, is so adorable, so lovely. I am not joking when I say if Paddington 3, when it comes out soon, if it nails it and it's a good movie, as in like an 8 to a 9 out of 10 movie, this might be one of the tightest trilogies in Hollywood history, because 1 and 2 are so good. 2 even might be better, as even joked about in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, that is one of Nicolas Cage's favorite movies as well. This is just the epitome of cute, funny, charming, well-intended, fun. I know like weird people like Pez, shout out to Pez, our boy, hates these shenanigans when, stuff gets ruined and whatnot, but I don't know. This is not a movie I was always rushing out to see. I might have even saw this not too long before the second one came out, because it was just one of those, like, you just kept hearing about it and kept being told, and you look around Tomatoes at being so high. The second one's one of those crazy, like, it was 100, but it's now like 98, because like one asshole didn't like it later on. But I just love these movies here. Whatever year Paddington 2 was out, I'm sure that's in my top 10 as well. These are just, they're so good here. So bring the family to number 10, leave them at number 9, bring them back to number 8. What you got at number 7?
Paddington 2, that would be 2017, another great year for movies. Number 7, your number 9, John Wick.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think John Wick. Again, just a pleasant surprise. I wasn't sure what we were gonna get. Keanu Reeves, kind of came back in a big way with this movie. I mean, he's made a couple stinkers since then, but he's got the John Wick franchise. He's got the cameo and Always Be My Maybe. I think this kind of skyrocketed him back in that kind of forefront in Hollywood. And yeah, everything you said, I'll just echo it. Yeah, I think it created a nice world here that I want to explore more, and then we would be able to in the next 3 movies, and even I haven't watched the series on Peacock yet, but it is something that I want to get to, because I'm so immersed in the world. I think it's a really interesting world that was created here, and it starts with this one. And if this one doesn't hit as well as it does. We don't get 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, what you said about Paddington, I think you could say um, easily about this franchise as well. I think it's one of the tightest just franchises. Not a single bad movie in it. What's my favorite John Wick movie? Probably the last one that I watched. That's how good this series is. So yeah, great action. It's a simple story, but it works. So yeah, our lists are very very similar with the exception of the Raid 2 so far. I think I don't know that our lists have matched up as much as they are right now.
We'll see if some of that might continue here. I'm going to resent being talked about for the first time tonight anyway. Edge of Tomorrow, aka Live, Die, Repeat, aka whatever you want to call it. You haven't seen this one?
I haven't seen it, no.
Well, damn, 2014 just keeps getting better, baby, because I watch it. Highly recommended here. I do love the Groundhog Day trope, and I feel like in these last, decade, we've gotten a little bit of everything here. If you want comedy, go check out Palm Springs. If you want kind of a more, I don't want to say B-level action one, but there's a really fun one with Frank Grillo called Boss Level that I think is really good. This is a more of a grand epic, war, sci-fi action one here. Tom Cruise, who is kind of trying to, first get out of it. His character definitely grows and learns. Emily Blunt has never been more badass as her character here. It's got just the right level of humility and humor as well, but still always the stakes are forefront, the Groundhog Day level, the action. Just a really well done film here, one that surpassed expectations. Ended up being a really good movie, decent rewatch. Doug Liman, who just did the recent Casey Affleck and Matt Damon movie, he's the director at helm here. So yeah, this is a good one here. Definitely worth checking out here. So fill that 2014 hole when you can. What you got at number 6?
Oh yeah, definitely check it out. My number 6 is Kingsman: The Secret Service. I think it's another one that was a surprise. I didn't really know much going into it. Didn't really know who Taron Egerton was as an actor, but his performance in the movie was really good. You surround him with great actors like Colin Firth, Mark Strong, Samuel L. Jackson, who I think is a very fun villain here. I think the action is good. I think that church scene is also really good. 2014 was just a really good action year as well. I think there's some really good action scenes in 2014 as I'm going through my list, and even I'm sure in Edge of Tomorrow as well. There's just a lot of really good action. Eggsy I think is a really cool character. I'd love to see him back for maybe a third movie, if we get it. But yeah, the weapons, just the world that they created, the Kingsmen, I think is just really fascinating. And again, that church scene is just so good and so brutal. I absolutely love it. It's another one that if I just wanted to go watch a good, fight or action scene, I could just go watch that and be good for a while. It's really fun. I say fun, and like 93 people are brutally murdered. But sometimes it's fun. So, Kingsman, number 6.
Again, you know how good 2014 is? It's not on my list or my honorables. It's basically my honorables, if you will. It's top 20. And I dig this movie a lot here, man. Big shout out to Matthew Vaughn here, creating a really fun world here. And yeah, hell yeah. I really want to see a third one. I want some more Eggsy in my life. So I'm totally down for that here. And hey, it's King's Men. It's not King's Boys. So they got, technically they got all the time they need. Right. So whenever you got a good script and you're ready, and I want Vaughn specifically to be in it, to be the director. So yeah, let's get it. My number 6 here, Boyhood. The film that I think the trailer even says makes cinematic history because they literally took their time filming it. This same actor, Eller Coltrane here, they literally filmed scenes of him when he's 6 and 8 and 10 and 15 and 18. Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke, a recent collaborator with the director. They're a divorced couple here, and it's just a really great coming of age film here. And yeah, the gimmick does help. And I know some people try to say that the gimmick is kind of the best part about it here, but I'm a sucker for it. I love the fact that they went for it. They did it. They found the financing. They kind of put their own money on the line here and whatnot. And it just, I think it works. I love following this kid from one age to the next year. There's also, this is a good dinner scene right there. That's some gripping stuff. And yeah, this is always a movie that I love the gimmick, and I think they worked it off kind of great here. So great coming of age flick here. We're truly follow the same actor growing up here and just kind of learning life and life lessons. Boyhood coming in at my number 6. Jacob, my boy, what you got at number 5?
Another blind spot that I have to
get it. I think you might like this one. I think you'd like it.
I mean, yeah, I have it. I just haven't put it in the Blu-ray player yet.
Put it in the player.
I'll put it in when you put Wrestle Madness in, okay?
Well, that is not a fair comparison. What? Wait, you haven't seen Wrestle Madness either. That's a really weird comparison. That's not even a fair comparison.
It's very fair because you own it. No, I don't.
No, I used to. I didn't. You think? Okay.
Oh,
I owned it back when I moved, like the first time, like 4 or 5 years ago. You think that's one of the few DVDs I took with me?
Yes.
High School Memories, Eternal Sunshine, Wrestle Madness. All right, just you 3.
It's a wrestler movie. Who knows? Number 5. You said my number 5. Your number 8. Paddington.
Hell yes.
I think this movie is just so fun, so charming. People can say that Paddington is just a destructive bear who destroys things, and he might be. But you know what? He's so cute and adorable when he does it. How can you stay mad at him? Yeah, like you said, if Paddington 3 hits anywhere near what the first 2 do, it's going to be one of the tightest trilogies. I think Nicole Kidman is a fun villain here. Sally Hawkins as Mrs. Brown, I think is really quite charming too. I think it's just a really fun movie. I think it's adorable. Kind of the hijinks that he gets into. It's just a fun family movie. And even though I don't live with my family, I feel warmth when I watch this movie. Like people are around me. I feel like I'm with my family because I'm with this family. And who doesn't love the Browns? And it's funny because he's a brown bear. So yeah, Paddington, number 5.
Right on. I just checking something. Okay, I see what I did here. Talk some more about it. No. I'll just no.
No, it's really fun. It's one of those movies that slowly just becomes like, how when you get sick and you just want something to make you feel good. Paddington has slowly become one of those movies for me. This and the second one, like if I'm sick and I'm at home and I want to watch something, if I fall asleep, it's okay. Paddington is that movie for me. I think it's so fun, so charming. How can you get mad at that bear? Look at that face. From the producer of Harry Potter, so there's going to be charm and magic.
Are you done already, Jacob?
So, dogs must be carried, but bears, they can walk.
Hell yeah. See, look at this. I want to watch it again. Oh, come on. Coming in at my number 5, we're going back to some more comic booky stuff here. First time we met our boys and girls and Guardians of the Galaxy here. I feel like, didn't we just talk about Guardians of the Galaxy with you?
Yeah, I feel like we did. Also, won't be the first time tonight that we do.
I think, I was going to say, I feel like we talked that you also liked it as well, so I think we might be talking about it here pretty soon here. I feel like we are also in agreement that, like, we didn't necessarily go into, like, hell yeah, it's the Guardians, you know what I mean? We just went in like, all right, it's Marvel, we'll give it a shot. So far, their track record here is pretty damn good, and they, again, I nailed it out of the park here. It's in my top 10, in my top 5. Love this group of characters here. They are the ragtag group that kind of get set up and find kind of their own fucked up family, if you will. Here, Chris Pratt, who at this point is just the funny dude from Parks and Rec, is great as Star Lord. Ooh, Star Lord. You got a damn tree. You got a raccoon voiced by Bradley Cooper, who, if you don't know, it's Bradley Cooper until you find that out. Again, he really has a fun voice actor. Zoe Saldana and our boy, former world champ Dave Bautista, having a breakout role as Drax here. And again, we're in space now. I feel like we did something a little different in the MCU at this point here. Went to a different section of the world. Had a lot of fun with it here. James Gunn, I think, is great. I actually kind of prefer James Gunn when he's a little limited to PG-13 and he can't just do whatever in an R-rated movie here. I think he does this trilogy pretty good. 1 and 3 I think are pretty great, and 2 is also decent fun. But yeah, the first time we got to meet the group here, great time. The villain's just kind of fine, but boy, the group is what's best here. Even a really good ending as well here. And hey, you end the movie with dancing. Start the movie with dancing, end the movie with dancing. So let's dance on to your number 4, Jacob. And John C. Reilly's in it.
My number 4. This is how good the year is because this is number 4, and it's considered one of the best mystery/thrillers of pretty much all time. That's Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher, starring Rosamund Pike and Ben Affleck. Your boy Ben Affleck. I'm sure this is not the first time that we will hear about this movie. If it is, I'm surprised, and again, just shows how strong 2014 is.
Good year.
But yeah, it's the reason it's a little bit lower is because I feel like it is rewatchable, but once you kind of know, it does I think take you out a little bit on rewatches for me personally. But the performances are so good. I think it's directed really well. I think I love the script. That it still has a little bit of that rewatchability, that even though you kind of know on rewatches the mystery aspect of it's still fantastic. Ben Affleck, I think this might be one of his best performances that I've seen. I haven't seen his entire filmography, so I can't speak to all of it, but he's really good. Rosamund Pike is absolutely, she's I hate her character, but I love her performance, and I think that's what she was going for, and she does it so well. Neil Patrick Harris is a really good side character. Tyler Perry is great. Tyler Perry is great when he's not starring in his own movies, which is a shame, because if he could just act like he does here in his own movies would also be good. But that's a discussion for another time. Gone Girl, number 4.
Good stuff here. You know what? It's been too long since we've talked about the MCU. It's been exactly one round, so let's go back to it. Cap America: Civil War coming in at my.
You mean Winter Soldier?
I do mean Winter Soldier. I was testing you. Even as I said that and I looked at your face, I was like, I fucked up, didn't I? It's just that I love both Cap. I love both Winter Soldier and Civil War.
There's something funny. When I was making my list and I was writing it down, I also started to write Civil War.
Hey, I'm bad with release dates, but it made sense to me either way, because I do think the last. I like the first one. It's a decent introduction to Cap America, but it is one that I go to maybe the least of the Cap trilogy, because I think the second and third are really damn good here. You can even say almost partially, like an Avengers film here with all the people that pop up here. But no, Winter Soldier I really liked here. Like I said, I even went in kind of with semi-tempered expectations, because that first one was just kind of pretty good, not great for me here. I didn't love it as much as Iron Man. I didn't love it. I don't know if this came out before or after Guardians here, but I like Guardians more than I would the first Captain America. But I thought this one was great here. I enjoy just the action. I think is next in the level here. Really good stuff by the Russo brothers here. Who is this their first one or no? I'm not sure.
I think so.
Right. So I think yeah. So Winter Soldier, which is interesting because their biggest movie before that is You Mean Dupree. So it's not exactly like they had a track record at this point here. But they would, of course, go on to do not only Civil War, but they would do the last two Avengers movies here. They even did the kind of fun Ryan Gosling movie Gray Man, and are set up they even now want him back for the next couple Avengers movies here. But anywho, their first kind of big movie here. I think they do a great job with it here. I enjoy the stuff with Bucky. I enjoyed this a bit of an espionage film. Again, it really worked for me. I think everything here, stuff with ScarJo here, the big stunts really work. So my number 4 is Winter Soldier, not Civil War. Winter Soldier. What you got at number 3?
My number 3 is Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Never heard. You mean Civil War?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. The elevator scene here. I think it's a really good story here. I think it's more than a superhero movie. I think it's got a really good story. Like the introduction of Falcon here is really cool. Seeing Bucky back, and kind of not remembering who Cap was. The relationship between Cap and Black Widow and Nick Fury, I think, is really good. Robert Redford is fantastic. I wish the Academy gave more love to superhero movies, because I think this could have been, they have room for 10 nominations for Best Picture. They nominated 8. There was room. You could have put this one in there, and I think it would have deserved it. It's not my spoilies. It's not my favorite of the MCU for 2014, but I do think it's like the best made movie that from the MCU for 2014. I think it's just a really good movie. I mean, call Captain America something else. He's not a superhero. And I think this movie it's a really good action movie with really good performances, a really good story, really good stakes, really good tension, and yeah, fuck you, Academy. Show more love to superhero movies.
Yeah, no, they're always really snubs on almost any genre outside of drama to a large degree here. If you're a straight up comedy, if you're action, if you're superheroes, if you're horror, you have a really hard time tracking over at the Academy.
Yeah. What was the last horror movie to get nominated? Do we have to go all the way back to Get Out?
Yeah, Get Out got some love, and even before that, then I feel like you got to go farther than that.
Yeah.
Like Sixth Sense maybe got some love. I don't know. Yeah. And I could be wrong. I obviously could be skipping other things. I don't know by heart, but yeah, no, it's a genres that don't often get the love they should. Shout out again, Toni Collette. It's been snubbed for Hereditary and stuff like that. So, yeah. My number 3, how dare you, Jacob, even question whether or not my boy Ben was going to make the list. Gone Girl coming in at my number 3. It's shows like this that I've come to learn, man, I think I'm just a really huge, David Fincher fan. Obviously a huge Ben Affleck fan here. And yeah, you mentioned Rosamund Pike, I think, having her career best performance here as well, which is not a knock. She's great at many other things too, but she's so good here as Amy, aka Amazing Amy here. Oscar nominated too. Oscars did give her some love as far as a nomination here, which shows you how good it is here. Tremendous screenplay as well here, based on a book, which you can tell, like, it's just such good writing here. I do understand what you mean by, like, there is a bit of juice left out upon a rewatch here, because that first watch is just so good and pulpy, and you're just wondering what is going on with this tale here. You learn kind of what has happened to Amy. I still think it's very intriguing up until the very last shot here. I don't hold that against it though here. I always try to keep my first viewing kind of on par with like a rewatchability to a degree here, depending on the movie that it is here, because I think that is kind of like Boyhood. Like, that is part of the fun here, is truly guessing and figuring out what they could be done. And Fincher luckily has the carte blanche too, to where I think it's just the right amount of length. I want to say it's over 2 hours, but it doesn't over where it's welcome in my opinion here, because they do a lot. This could have been probably a mini series if they really wanted it to be. But I think he does a really good tight movie here. And side appearances, Neil Patrick Harris kind of playing outside of character, and as you mentioned too, I am with you 1,000% on Tyler Perry here. You just need a good script, and probably you might not be the best leading actor. You know what I mean? If you want to make another one like I think Sam Worthington and Taylor Kitsch are pretty good usually in smaller roles. Like I don't know, maybe just better scripts is what you need. Because yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler Perry when it's this or like I liked him in was it Don't Look Up and like a
Well, yeah,
couple
he
other
was
things
good.
where he just Vice, he just pops up as an actor and a side character actor. Yeah, like he fits 100%. I never was like taken out by him. But yet when you're a lead and you're Medea, you can. We'll have that fight later. What you got number two?
Uh, Number two, I have a feeling is also pretty high up for you. Um, it's Whiplash. I have Whiplash at 2. Um, yeah, I think everybody, if you haven't seen Whiplash, um, what's wrong with you? Not quite much. Yeah. Um, yeah, starring Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons, who won for Best Supporting Actor. Well deserved. I think this is his best performance. He's such a dick, and he plays it so well. Um, he's a good teacher, but not a good teacher at the same time. Because he does what he needs to get the best out of his students, but he doesn't do it the right way. Um, and Miles Teller, as the drummer, showing the links that he'll go to just to impress the guy and be successful. I wanted to rewatch this today, but then I ended up watching the 3rd season of Bel Air instead because it's been out for a week now and I haven't gotten to it yet. But I might rewatch this after we're done here because this is just so good. The performances are fantastic. I don't know how this lost to Birdman, which I like Birdman. It was would have been an honorable to the honorables for me, but man, I think Whiplash is one of the best movies of not only 2014 but of the 2010s. So yeah, number 2.
I can dig it, and now I feel weird transitioning because my number 2 was the movie you just mentioned that it lost to Birdman coming in, and my number 2 here. Let's see.
Put the whole title.
No, on the unexpected virtue of ignorance. Then I'll have to start doing the ticker thing at the bottom. I don't want to do another ticker. Although we might have to get there too. Sometimes we have to do it even without doing full titles here. Alejandro Gonzalez in Naruto, I think, has a really cool visionary style here. This is obviously also, again, part of the gimmick, but that's part of the fun for me. I like when people try different things here. Is it is shot almost like it's just a one shot. It is constantly just following these people around here. We're not breaking camera. We're not doing multiple angles here. It's shot almost like not a documentary because they're never act like it's a documentary, but it is just one continuous shot here. I think it's pretty damn well executed as well here. Michael, everyone in here again too, really great cast here. Who's probably the best like dramedy actors out there because you got Michael Keane, Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis, who all like can rock both drama and comedy, and even Ed Norton, who maybe has some of the most comedic elements in here. It's a good reminder that like, oh, he can also be funny too. That's not necessarily the scripts that he always goes for here. I think a really intriguing screenplay here. Questions, some weird stuff that I totally dig. Some meta stuff. Yeah, it's a movie I really dug. One I actually do need to rewatch. Well, yeah, Birdman coming in at my number 2. Well, via math and what we've already talked about, I can kind of figure out your number 1. Jacob, what is your number 1 of the year 2014?
Yeah, my number 1. I went back and forth between this and Whiplash, and I think I ultimately went with this one because I just have more fun with it, and I rewatch it a little bit more. And that's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Again, I knew nothing about these characters going into it. And by the way, I love Birdman. It's not a bad choice for number 2. I just think Whiplash is a better film, and I would have loved to see Whiplash get the win. I'm not knocking Birdman. Again, that's just how good 2014 was. But back to Guardians. Yeah, I didn't know anything about these characters. I'm not a comic book guy, but I am a comic book movie guy. I mentioned that on the Lonely Marks yesterday when we talked about wrestlers and movies. You can go check that out.
That's why we talked about it.
Wrestling channel. Yeah, like you said, Dave Bautista, kind of a breakout role for him. I think he started in a few little things before this, but yeah, this is a role that kind of broke him out as an actor, and I think he's absolutely incredible. Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Zoe Saldana, the entire group here. I knew nothing about these characters, but I absolutely love them now. I'm with you. 1 and 3, I think, are great too. Having watched the entire trilogy, like now that all 3 movies are out, I've come around to number 2 more than I did on that first watch. Um, but also agree that the villain is okay. But this is about the group, and I think the group is extremely fun. Uh, yeah, great voice by Bradley Cooper. If you would just told me, hey, who is, I would not have been able to tell you just based off listening to him. I think he does a good job of transforming his voice to, that it's not him. No, that's not Bradley Cooper. I've heard Bradley Cooper. Just go watch American Sniper from this year, which was also a good performance.
Honorable.
Yeah, again, that's how good this year was. Again, nothing about these characters. Had zero expectations going into it, and I was completely blown away by how fun this movie was upon that first watch. It's probably the MCU movie that I've rewatched the most, because I think these characters are just so fun.
I love it here. And again, shouldn't be maybe too much of a surprise if you know me. You've talked about it. It's my number 1. Your number 2, Whiplash. I have always loved this movie here. The drive to be great is something that can be maybe daunting and even life obstructing here. Miles Teller wants to be great. He's also kind of a dick too. You know what I mean? He straight up breaks up with Supergirl because he just doesn't have time for her, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a drive to be great. He gets into a car accident even here, and while bloody, still tries to go through with it. And then I've always championed not only pretty much everything, including the absolutely brilliant J.K. Simmons performance here. Man, I love the ending. It is a solid, I don't even know, 5, 6, 8, 10-minute ending here of the last concert that they play together here. And it has ups and downs and twists and turns and great music at it as well here. And there's like subtleties in their faces. They're both like acting without having to say a word for the majority of it. It's a really great film here. I'm not superstitious, but I always like to start the year off strong. And so I guess I'm a little superstitious. So this is like sometimes either this year or last year. I think it was last year. This is like the first film I watched of the year. I'm like, let's start off strong. Let's start off with Whiplash here. It's weirdly enough probably one of my more rewatched movies of the last few years here because I just love this movie here. Paul Reiser is really good as the father here. Everyone just Teller and J.K. absolutely killing it here. I love Whiplash. You like it too, number 2. So that is a solid list. I think we both represent here in 2014. Jacob, you want to go over that top 10 one more time?
Yeah. I too like to start the year off strong. I just went back and looked. My first movie of the year was The Lion King. So
hey, I love that remake with Seth Rogen and
it's so good. It's not live action, but it's live action. Number 10, I had The Raid 2. Number 9, X-Men: Days of Future Past. Number 8, Nightcrawler. Number 7, John Wick. Number 6, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Number 5, The First Paddington. Number 4, Gone Girl. Number 3, Captain America: Winter Soldier. At number 2 is Whiplash. And number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Look at it. Yes, I'll say Jojo Rabbit was my first movie of this year, actually. That's how I started off 2024. So my list here, nope, wrong link. Brought to you by Letterboxd. Follow me over at JP Owens, J Owens. I also get a little look at some of my other honorable mentions. My number 10, Lego Movie. Number 9, John Wick. 8, Paddington. 7, Edge of Tomorrow. 6, Boyhood. 5, Guardians of the Galaxy. 4, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 3, Gone Girl. 2, Birdman of Ignorance. And number 1, Whiplash. Jacob, what a good year 2014 was. Tato, if you're watching, why did you just DM me a half-naked guy? What is this? I'm confused. Anywho, I'm sure he'll let me know what that is later. Barber, any plugs, parting words?
No, not much to plug. Every Thursday you can find me. Most Thursdays you can find me over at the Lonely March with JPL, but also with Austin Howell and Richie Goodacre, where we just talk some wrestling. We went live yesterday, predicting All In for this Sunday and talking about wrestlers and movies, kind of putting them in a tier list. So go back and check that out. Yeah, I pop up here from time to time doing these countdowns. Sometimes I'll write questions that JPO and others will try to answer. I haven't done that in a while, so maybe I'll do that soon.
Yeah, I was just about to say, don't tease me, do it.
But yeah, no, not much else going on. I kind of try to stick to minimal online stuff now that I'm trying to pursue this comedy thing.
Hey, I do that occasionally too. Uh, Not as much as you. You're my idol, Jacob. Someday I want to grow up to be
Stop
just like
it.
you. Yeah, we did bring up Taylor Kitsch. I never said DM me a photo of his like. What do you call that thing when you're really working out and it's not?
You also didn't tell him not to.
Shit, can't argue that. You can find me over all the places here. This channel, of course, our brother sister channel, Pierce Wrestling, where we have exclusive. Oh, Dick Root? Is that what it? Okay, I don't know what to say anymore. Why we love horror, Cineplex, whatever Henry's channel is, although it's probably dead again because I haven't seen anything from it in a while. Find me over at Fortnite, where me, Tato, Papa, and JB3 are killing it as squad members. Jacob, come play some Fortnite with us. No, he's not going to do it.
I'm just not good at it.
No, none of us are. It's all about the hang, baby, and getting better together. So come join us. We need a squad. All right. So for Jacob, for everyone watching, like, subscribe, tell a friend. If you didn't like it, then tell them to subscribe. Tell an enemy to subscribe if you didn't like it. And most of all, hey, we love you more than you'll ever know. Tato, stop sending me Taylor Kitsch nudies.
Motherfuck, noise.